Okay, welcome back. What are we on? 43. That's wrong. 43. This one, I was going to tell you the difference between a 7-wire Phillips and a 7-wire Bagman plug or an RV plug, but not very many people, unless you're like a heavy truck driver, where you'd even have a 7-wire. So I thought it was kind of crazy to do that. But I'll tell you the color code. Okay, so this is what a 7-wire looks like. This is the flat 7-wire plug. Okay? Now, there's always a top and a bottom. And you see all the wires are marked on the top, right? The top is where the screw goes. Okay? So you got white, blue, brown, black, green, and red. And I'm going to tell you something that nobody tells you. So, and this is your flat one here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is compare the two. Okay? So we're going to just use one color. So, you got the 7. Okay? And you got the 4. Okay? And then you have these. White, black, blue, red, green, and yellow. Okay? I think we missed one. 1, 2, 6. And brown. Okay? Now, this has been a contentious issue since I was a little wee guy. Like before I could even walk out of the house. Is that Bagman or Bargman, they are the ones that came up with the 7-wire RV plug. And I think it was definitely, I wouldn't say a communist overthrow, but it definitely something going on, because they took all the common wire systems and changed them to their system. But we got to live with this now. So, on the back of the, thank God, most trucks and well, not trailers, but truck plugs, they got a photograph of it on the back to tell you what the cord is, right? So basically, you got these, this is looking at the plug on the trailer, right? So you got it like this. Okay? Now, if you go behind there, this is blue. Okay? And then brown. And then black. And then green. And then red. And then you got white. Okay. I hate to tell you this. The only common terminal is this one, white. And it's a ground, right? Okay? That's a symbol for a ground. Now, on the 4-wire and the 7-wire, black is the trailer. Okay? Or sorry. No, that's, well, it's trailer, but it's the positive for the trailer. Okay? And the blue wire is your brake light, is your brake wire, not brake lights, but brake wire. That's one that goes to your brakes on your trailer. The red on, okay, green, red is, I'm going to screw this all up. Green is tail light. Yellow they don't use. Brown is right, and then red is left. Okay? Now, this is so confusing, but if you want, what I'll do is I'll just leave it right now and pause the film and look at it. Just pause it. I'll give you a couple minutes to pause it. Okay. Now, when you go to the 4-wire, this is where it gets really crazy. Now, if you do trailer, just stick with trailer on this. Okay, now on the 4-wire, there's 4 wires, right? A ground, which is this one. The black they don't use. The blue they don't use. And the red they don't use. They use green, which is right. They use yellow, which is left. And they use brown for taillights. Okay? Ground, red, or right, left, and taillights, right? Now, the thing you gotta, this 4-wire is really easy. I don't know why they went to this system, because you can't get a system to remember it all, right? This system, remember, green is right, the R. Yellow is left, the L. And brown is for taillights. You only got 1 wire left, so it's got to be that one. And ground is always white. So that is the system, okay? Now, 6-wire is a little different. Not very many 6 wires around, so we're not going to go this one. Now, the flat one is like this. Now, this is a little tester. And what it works out to is you got a ground wire, you got tail, left, and right turn, okay? So, if you plug your trailer in, and now the lights come on, and you wiggle it around and it comes on, that means it's a bad ground. So that's where you check your ground to make sure it works, okay? So that's what we got for the wires. Now the wires are, this is how they're wired. It's just, I don't know. It's just the way it is. That's why the Bagman. Now, for doing electrical, there's a whole bunch of stuff you gotta have. You got strippers, which these are my favorite ones. These are, of course, my Canadian Tire ones. And we have another set of snap-on ones here. They work pretty good. These are the crimpers you use. These are Jet. Betts makes them. Thomas makes them. Snap-on. Everybody. These are the ones you use. Now, they got insulated, non-insulated, and cutters. I don't use the non-insulated one. These little babies, these are Worth ones. And they're worth a fortune. But if you see the red, blue, and the yellow, that's what color of terminals you put in now. These are set up for Worth. Now you can take the cheap ones you buy at Harbor Freight. They won't exactly squash it right. You sort of have to give it a little extra. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to take a piece of wire and I'm going to show you how to fix a wire. And this is how you do every one. I don't want to hear about it. Just this is the way it's done, right? I forgot to ask for permission. So you say you got 2 wires, okay? If it's all looped, you won't be able to figure it out. So we'll cut this off, okay? We got 2 wires. And this is, if you do this system, you'll have no problem. Now, this is where, you got friends and you have a little difference of opinion, but it doesn't matter. So, I'll tell you, my good buddy Steve, which we share feeling with, some days he's got the feeling, some days I got it. So, the one I feel Steve with, he solders everyone. I don't solder it, and I'll tell you why. But Steve does, and he does a very good job. So, now what you do is you put the connector on there like so, and you crimp it on. These are what they call solderless connection. Now, if you don't have solderless, you got the blue ones, cut the insulator off it. Unless you got the shrink tubing ones, which got the shrink tubing built in, you just crimp them on and then heat them up with a torch, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so then you got it, you put it on the wire like so, right? And these got to be all clean, no corrosion or nothing, right? You know that. I don't have to tell you that stuff. And then you put them in the crimp like that there, and just push it right down as hard as you can. I was going to tell you what, as hard as something, but you can't say that. So, you got it crimped. Now, if this is a 45-mile wire, or this one, you got to make sure you put your shrink tubing on. Now, as you notice, you don't need 50,000 miles of shrink tubing. All you want to do is seal it there, right? So you want like a 1/4 inch on each side of it, right? And then you take your little tiger torch. This is not a tiger torch. This isn't even a propane torch. This is a fire starter, just in case you're wondering. It starts your fire. And see, you just shrink it over there. And then you leave the end on it like that. It doesn't work, so you just pull it over like this and you squeeze it down like that. And then you just stretch it out a bit and mush it around. Look at that. That's how it goes. And it'll never leak. I guarantee it won't leak. And this, you could pull your car with this thing. That's how you repair a wire. Okay? Just pay attention. I'll do it real quick just once more. Cut it. Now remember you're watching the wire, so don't turn the volume up and look away. So you get the wire, cut it, strip it, and then you put the butt connector on it. See, I told you I shouldn't have looked away. Okay, the connector in. Now, when you put the connector in, to save a lot of grief, is you cut this, like that, so that the butt connector comes right up to the insulation. Like that, right? And then you crimp that. Okay? Then you crimp that one on. And the crimp got to be right in the middle and on the side. And then you do that with the other side. You cut it, put it in. Oh, what did we do? Put the shrink tubing on. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's even better. Okay. You put that on, put your shrink tubing on, and crimp it the same way. Okay, now you got to pay attention because I'm going to get you lost here. See that? Now, you put your piece of shrink tubing on there like so, right? And you put it over like so, and then you get your fire starter. You think you guys are laughing because I call it my fire starter. You ask some people. Okay, there it is. That's good. Now, we got that one done. Okay? So let's do one more. This is an insulated one. This is a Worth one, so they're pretty good. This one here, you got the connector inside with a little bit of blue. Now the blue tells the color. So you put it in there, then you get your trusty clamps, and you put the clamps just up to the insulation, and you just push it down and it'll release itself. There. That's it. You don't have to do any more. And then you do the same thing here. Cut the wire off. Put the wire in there like so. You got the wires in there. Number blue. Put blue on there like that. Push down. Now you notice that it never squashed the plastic. It didn't break it. That's why they're specially made pliers. Get your fire starter. And you shrink it. And that's what it looks like when it's done. Pretty, eh? That's pretty. And that's just as good as anything. Okay? That's all I got on wire. If you got any questions, let me know. Just remember, solder those connections. And then when you get it there and you crimp the connection on, you solder it with a little bit of solder. Now just use a little bit because you put too much heat, too much solder, and it runs up the wire and makes it brittle. So right where the connector is, that's it. I'll leave you with that one. That's all I got to say on that.